Good morning, everyone. I am E.Nalina, Assistant Professor from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Now, I am going to take a topic from the subject Network Information Security. The topic name is the Systems Development Lifecycle, that is SDLC model. In SDLC waterfall method, you may be heard that it is a methodology to find out or provide a solution for the requirements given. That is, it is the design and implementation of an information system in an organization. So, in an organization, a methodology has to be followed for a design and implementation. So, this is one of the methodology where the implementation can be done. This methodology is a formal approach for solving a problem that is based on a structure, the structure of sequence of procedure. If you have a sequence of procedure and a structure, this methodology is helpful and this is a formal approach for solving that. And this method consists of 6 phases. We'll be seeing it one by one. So, at the end of each phase, a feasibility study is done. That is, a reality check is done whether this is feasible or not. A real is it is possible or not. That is checked during this process. So, if this is not feasible, if it is found that this is not feasible, then this can be discontinued or this can be remodeled, or the requirements, if the requirements is not matched, if you want to change the requirements, it can be done. And if anything must be changed, it can be done at that phase itself. So this is done at each and every phase. That is, feasibility study is done in each and every phase. If it is not feasible, then it is returned to the earlier phase and then the phase is again done to meet the needs. So this is the overall diagram of the SDLC waterfall method. This is called waterfall method because the step-by-step process is viewed as a waterfall. How the water falls in the fountain or how the water is falls, it is viewed in such a manner so that it is called the waterfall method. So in this waterfall method, we have 6 stages. I have already, as I have already told you. The first phase is the investigation phase. The second phase is the analysis phase. The third phase is the logic design phase. The fourth phase is the physical design phase. And next is the implementation phase. The next is the maintenance and change. So these are the 6 phases. So in the investigation phase, the overall investigation, that is the problem given, is investigated. That is, what are the requirements, what is the procedure. So that process is investigated in the investigation stage. Next is the analysis stage. So in the analysis stage, what are the requirements, what is the need for the problem, what is the need for the solution, what are the requirements and the needs are discussed in the analysis phase. And next is the logical design. In the logical design, an overall design of the solution is built. That is, what are the software, what are the requirements, what is the need for the solution. So that is designed in an overall diagram. So that is called the logical design. Next is the physical design. In the physical design, what is the exact needs? That is, what is the exact software needed, or any other software needed, or any other requirements needed. So that physical requirements are brought to the point and then it is designed. So this is called the physical design. And in the implementation stage, as we all know, the designs and the requirements and the needs are implemented using a correct procedure and a correct person. So this is the most important phase where the implementation of the requirements and the needs to meet the solution is done. So in the implementation phase is more time taking and also it must be done correctly so as the solution is met. If the implementation phase uh, meets some requirements, so then the phase is called out and it can be done rework whether the requirements is needed or not. If any changes are there, it can be done in this phase itself. So each and every phase there is a feasibility study so that you can check out whether it is feasible or not, whether the needs are matched or not. So each and every stage there is a feasible study. As the same way in the implementation stage also the feasibility study is done. So the implementation phase all the solutions are attained as per the given physical diagram and physical design and the logical design. So it is important to design the physical design and the logical design a proper way so that the implementation can be done in the right time. So it is all a step-by-step procedure so that each step is to be followed correctly so that the implementation is done in a proper manner. And then is the maintenance and change. In the maintenance and change, once the solution is attained, once the product is delivered, the maintenance and change can be done. That is the overall maintenance of the system. So when the system is delivered or the solution is attained, the maintenance must be done correctly and it is the most phase and it is also costlier phase when compared to other products. So other steps. So this must be done in a proper way so that the solution or the system can be run in a proper way so that it is sustainable also. So this is most important and the change and the maintenance must be done in a proper manner. So proper time and proper manner if there is any change or if there is any methodology improved, it must be incorporated so that the system runs correctly and up to date. So updates must be given in a proper manner. So this is the overall view of the SDLC waterfall methodology. We will see it one by one in a detailed manner. So as I said earlier, this must be done in a proper way and each and every phase a feasibility study is done. So in the diagram itself, you can see repeat when no longer viable. That is, in every stage a feasibility study is done. If it is not viable or if it is not feasible, it can be called off and moved to the previous section. That is, so whenever the feasibility study is made and it is proved that it is not feasible, you can redo the phase or you can move to the previous phase. So this is the viability study made and it is given in the diagram itself. So this is the overall structure of the SDLC waterfall method. So each and every phase you can see two lines are given so that in the waterfall method an arrow is given so that to forward to the each and every stage and a backward line is also given so that if the feasibility study is made and it is not feasible, it is proved it is not feasible, you can move to the first phase, that is the previous phase. So that is given in the diagram itself. Next, we'll see the first phase, that is investigation. It is the most important phase and begins with the examination, that is plan. What has to be done? What has to be initiated in the process? It is done in the beginning stage itself. So as to know the objectives and the requirements and scope of the project is also specified here so that we can know the what is the scope and constraints and what is the reality of this project, so that this phase is very important and it begins with the examination. And in this phase, all the investigation regarding the objectives, constraints, and scope of the project is done, and it is also specified. Each and every objectives or the constraints are examined well so that the investigation process is done correctly. So, at the end of this phase, a feasibility analysis is performed on the axis of the economical, technical, behavior feasibility of the process. And which is more important, we need economical support and the technical support for a project. So that is also checked in this, that is also done in the investigation phase. So that is also ensure the implementation is worth. This check ensures whether the implementation is worth for organization's time and effort, because we are doing all the process with our time and effort, whether this is worth or not, whether the implementation is really a need for the institution or really need for the process. It is done, it is checked, and it is also investigated and examined in this phase. So in this phase is more important, and it is the beginning of every project. So we all need a plan or an objective for everything. So each and everything must be done with a plan or objective. So this is a objective phase or the investigation phase, where the objective, constraints and scope and everything must be planned in this phase itself. So this is called the investigation phase. Next, we'll move on to the analysis phase. In the analysis phase, it begins with the information gathered from the investigation phase. That is, whether the constraints around the quality assessments and the information which is already done in the investigation phase, the status of the current system, the capability to support the proposed system. That is the phase. This phase, the analysis of the requirements, objectives, which is already gathered in the investigation phase. We have done the plan for the project in the investigation phase. What are the needs for the project? That is done in the analysis phase. So it consists of assessments. Assessments in the sense of quality. What is the quality of organization? What is the status of the current system? The capability to support the proposed system. So these are the information we are gathering in the analysis phase. So there will be some analysts will they begin with determining what are the new system which is expected to do. What is the needs of the project? How it interact with the existing system? What is the problem in the existing system? What is the need for the new system? These are checked in by the analyst. So for the analysis phase, there is a set of analysts who analyzes the details of the project. So this information of the plan, that is the plan for which it is gathered from the investigation phase. So in that plan, we are taking the information from the investigation phase, and we are collecting the requirements of the organization. So it is feasible or not. It is, what are the requirements? If the requirements are can be done. So what are the needs? What are the projects? What is the fault with the existing system? So to recover that, how can the requirements can be changed? How the information can be changed? Whether the requirements, that is the software, the hardware of the project can be changed, or something new has to be incorporated. This can be analyzed by the analyst of the project. So this phase consists of all the analysis of the previous information gathered. In this phase also ends with the documentation of finding and update of the feasibility analysis. So I already said, each and every phase there is a feasibility study, and this is done in the each and every phase, so that we can find whether it is feasible or not, whether we can continue or not, whether it is So these are done by the feasibility study at end of each and every phase. The next phase, that is the logical design phase. So first we have done the plan for the project. Next we have gathered the requirements and the needs for the project, and also we have found out which is possible or not, what is the fault in the existing, what are the needs we can gather so that to make the product faultless, so that the existing system can be reworked. So these are the information gathered. So with the information gathered from the analysis phase, the logical design can be done. That is, to begin with this phase, we are creating a system solution for the business problem. That is, the solution is framed and it is overall design of the solution is produced in this phase. So based on the business need, applications are selected and the capable of providing the needed services are also selected. So these are the needs and the business needs, application needs, software needs, everything is selected and it is put in a design. So based on the application need, data support and the structures capable of providing the needed inputs are then chosen. So what are the application, what are the support needed, what are the structures needed, what are the needs of the project, it is all done in a design or it is put together in this phase. So in each and every phase, there is a number of alternative solutions, that is regarding to the weakness, strength, cost, benefits. So each and everything can be done. So in the analysis, a number of alternatives are given. So in the logical design phase, we are choosing what are the alternatives, or if this does not work, what can be done in an alternative way. It is all chosen in the logical design phase. So the cost can be reduced, or the benefits can be improved, or the weaknesses can be reduced, so that the logical design holds very good, so that the implementation can be done in a very good manner. So this logical design and physical design is important for the implementation to be done correctly. So this has to be done properly so that the implementation can be done properly. In this phase, the analysis gives the information to the logical design phase people, so that they can design the overall needs and the application needed, structure needed. Overall structure of the project is designed in this phase. What are the needs? That is the application, business needs, application needs, support needs, structures capable of doing this. Everything is designed in this phase. Next is the physical design. In the physical design, specific technologies are selected. That is, there are many alternatives, there are many technologies which is developed in the logical design. So in this phase, we can choose a specific technologies to support the system. There may be several alternatives, but we have to choose some to execute the project. So the implementation phase needs some technologies to be incorporated so that the product can be achieved or the process is done successfully. So in this case, specific technologies are selected, that is the components are evaluated based on a make or buy decision. So this make or buy decision means, is it already available, or it can be made, or it should be bought. So these are the information known in this physical design. By doing this physical design, we can make or we can come to a conclusion that whether it is already available, that is the components, technologies or the solutions or the softwares or the structures, is it already available, or it should be bought or it should be made. So these are the things which is need to be seen in this physical design phase. So in this physical design phase is important as the logical design phase because the needs are met and it is put together in a single uh, path so that everything can be done or it can be incorporated correctly so that the implementation is done properly. In this phase, the final designs integrate various components and technologies. That is, a design is created where various components, structures, technologies, softwares, everything should be incorporated in a single design so that the implementation phase can be done easily and it is also understandable. So, the what are the technologies which will support the uh, if the technologies are not supported, if, we can choose an alternative technology which is already mentioned in the logical design. So these technologies analyzed and also put together in this physical design where we can choose and we can select the appropriate design for appropriate technology for the design so that the design can be incorporated and also for the maintenance phase also the technology needs to be sustainable, the technology needs to be new so that it cannot be changed then and there. So it must be also user friendly so as to use this system or the product by this technology. So everybody must be used and it is also the technology must be support the system so that the needs can be satisfied. So these are the criteria which is seen in this physical design and it is made so that the implementation can be done properly. In this phase also, after the logical phase and the physical design phase, the feasibility study, each and every phase, the feasibility study is made as I said. So after this physical design phase also, the feasibility study is made and it is also done correctly. If if it is not feasible, if the technology or the structure which is not feasible, then you have to again move to the logical design phase and choose for an alternative, or you can change the logical design, or you can form any way, other technologies or other structures need to be followed so that it can be incorporated in the physical design. So each and every case after finishing the logical design phase also feasibility study is made and it is also done in the physical design phase also so that to know whether the design can be incorporated, design can be implemented correctly and it is useful for the end user. It is easy for the end user to use. So whether the needs of the end user are satisfied. So these are the things which has to be seen in the physical design so that the feasibility study is made on that. If this feasibility study does not match, that is the user end does not match, then it is called off or the feasibility design must be redesigned so that it meets the what are the it meets the end user and the errors must be uh, clear. So next is the implementation phase. So this phase is a creation phase. So in this creation phase, all the details from start of the phase, that is analysis, investigation, logical design, physical design, all the data from all the phases are needed for the implementation phase so that the software is created, a product is created, so that the components are put together in an appropriate place or appropriate time and it is created. So the based on the physical design, the implementation is done. But that phase is, depends on the other previous phases. So this is more important for the implementation process and the design is more important for the implementation process. In this phase, any software needed is created, that is implemented. So whenever a software is needed, it can be created or bought. So as I said, make or buy. So when a software is needed, here it is created. In the implementation phase, it is implemented. Components are ordered, received, and tested. In the components or the structures needed for the project is ordered, received, and tested. So any components are not proper, then it is reordered and or it is made. The software is also created. When the documentation for that this design is used, users are trained and trained for the supporting documentation creation. The users are made so that it is easy for the users to use the product. So the documentation is created so that the users can see the documentation and use the product or make use of the product easily. Once the components are tested and received and tested individually, they are installed and tested as a system. As a whole, the components and the structure are put together in this implementation phase. When a software is needed, it is also created, it is also tested, and also put in the system. And as all the component structure and also the softwares are put together as a system, the feasibility study is made. That is, the testing is done as a whole system so that any error or backlog is found. So if there is any error, then the system can be reworked. So this phase is a main phase where the product is created or the software is created. The product which reaches the end user is created in this implementation phase. All the details are implemented and incorporated in this phase so that everything goes in a particular place and it is also given a overall structure. So this is done in this phase, and for this phase also the feasibility analysis is prepared and the sponsors are then presented with the system for performance review and acceptance test. So the feasibility study is made, the feasibility analysis is made, whether to see whether it is feasible or not, whether the end user is satisfied or not, whether it is acceptance. The acceptance test is made. Acceptance test is that the end user can use it in an easier way, whether it is accepted by all the end users, and also the performance. Performance is more important because it is the main for any product. How it works, how it performs is the main for each and every product. So that is maintained in a good proper way so that it is seen the product is good enough for the end user. So that feasibility study analysis and also the performance acceptance, each and everything is checked and the feasibility study is made. And if the feasibility study is passed, then only it goes to the maintenance section. Else, it has to be reworked. Whether the feasibility is based on the design, then the design has to be reworked. So implementation mainly is based on the design. So if any implementation problem occurs due to design, the design has to be reworked so that the implementation can be done correctly. So if there is any supporting document or the components are not working, it has to be reworked in this phase itself. The components must be changed, the software must be changed, the software design must be changed, so that all the feasibility study of these things is done in this implementation phase itself, and then it is moved to the maintenance phase. So it's the last phase and it's the most expensive phase of the process, and it is also the longest phase. So where the maintenance and change, longest in the sense it is said longest since it is a continuous process. So that's why it is called the longest and the most expensive phase. Once the product is delivered or it is given to the end user, the maintenance and change should be done for the upcoming phase. So that it is called the longest phase and the most expensive phase, so that the maintenance is done correctly. And it consists of the tasks necessary to support or modify the system for the remainder of the useful life cycle. That is, if there is any necessary for the support, that is any change has to be done, any modification has to be done, it should be done so that it can be used for the entire life cycle. So this is the most expensive, the change phase or the maintenance phase. Some product needs some changes, some product needs some patches, so that it can run for a longer time. So when we buy a mobile phones also, we get updates. The product we have received, that is a mobile phone, for example, I'm saying it's mobile phone. We have received the product, but still we receive some maintenance and change. We receive some patches. We receive some updates so that our mobile phone can work uh, for the lifetime, and it also works well without any bugs or error, or if something hangs also, an update is given so that the hang can be updated. So these are called the maintenance. The periodically a system must be tested for the maintenance if there is any fault, so that any update must also be given. Sometimes a software update must be given so that the software runs smoothly. Sometimes the system update is given for our phones so that the system runs without any hang or any other problem. So this is done using maintenance phase. So after the product delivers, also the maintenance and change phase is continued for the life cycle so that the product is used effectively by the user. As the needs of the organization changes also, the system needs a change. So when needs of a person changes or needs of the organization, the product is for the organization, the needs of the organization changes also, the product must be changed. The entire product may not be changed, or there may be updation in the product. So that must be done during the maintenance. So each and everything done in the maintenance is a longest and the most expensive phase. So it is done after the product is delivered or at the end, so that any patches, updates must be given. Or if the organization needs is changed also, the updates must be given. So these are the responsibilities of the maintenance. So when our system, that is, when the current system is no longer supporting, so when the current system is not needed and something is updated, something the project is terminated, or the new project must be implemented, so that update must also be given. So when it is not feasible longer, it may be feasible during the delivery time, or during the when it is implemented, or when it is delivered to the end user, but later on it may not be useful, or it may not be it may not no longer support the organization. In such a way, in such time, we need to change or update the system so that the maintenance and change is done smoothly. So these are the process which is done in the maintenance and change phase. So this is important, and it is the longest and most expensive. It must be done. It is a continuous process. Since periodically a testing or it is done periodically, so that any errors or any difficulties must be identified so that it can be changed or updated. So this phase is most expensive and also a life-running or lifetime process. So this is the total view of the SDLC model, that is software design development life cycle model. So this life cycle, first the investigation should be done properly, then the analysis, that is after the investigation, the analysis of the requirements, whether the investigated products are needed or not, that is done in the analysis phase. Next is the logical design. The logical design, the overall structure, procedure, what are the alternatives, what are the software, what are the components. Overall thing is design in the logical phase. The physical design, each and every component is tested, bought, tested, and also given. What are the alternatives? We can choose from the alternatives in the given. So these are done in the physical design. After the physical design is over, it is the implementation phase. In the implementation phase, the overall structure is implemented. It is put together. It is structured. So it is given and life. That is, it is given a procedure. So how it has to be worked. So everything is put together. All the designs are worked and put together in the implementation phase. And next is the maintenance and change phase. So this phase, the maintenance and change, updates, everything is done in the maintenance and change phase, so that the system can run in a longer time. So this SDLC model is important for every product. That is, each and every step is important in this, and this is must be done. The feasibility must be done in each and every phase, so that the product is delivered promptly, correctly, and in a timely manner, and the maintenance should be done in a proper way, so that the delivered system or a product can support the end user, and also it is useful for the lifetime. If there is any changes in the requirements of the end user, it can be changed in the maintenance. Updates can be given by the maintenance team to the end user. So this is done, and also the overall product can be designed only by a step-by-step procedure, and this is one of the method where the step-by-step procedure, this SDLC model, a step-by-step procedure where the product can be given correctly and promptly. So the product is delivered at a proper time.